The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight.
WLS shouldn't talk about women this way. Our community deserves better than this.
Now, the vicious far-left website Media Matters is actually threatening radio stations that carry Rush Limbaugh. Is this fascism or fair play? We'll have a special report.
You see, Mitt Romney doesn't seem...
Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The far left demanding censorship. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It used to be that liberals are the most ardent advocates of free speech. The ACLU is in business to promote speech, or so they say. But now the far left is a primary source of censorship in America. Simply put, they do not want to hear opposing points of view. Enter the vicious Media Matters outfit, which is in business to demonize anyone with whom they disagree. As you may know, Media Matters is heavily funded by far-left zealots like George Soros, and they are dishonest to the core. Last week we showed you a clip they used of me analyzing gas prices, only they cut out the part where I criticize Republicans trying to persuade folks that I'm being unfair to President Obama. That Talking Points is available on BillO'Reilly.com and proves beyond any doubt that Media Matters has no integrity whatsoever. Their latest campaign is against Rush Limbaugh. Media Matters is spending about $100,000 to run radio ads targeting stations that carry Mr. Limbaugh.
Local station WLS broadcasts a radio host who repeatedly attacked a female student for no other reason than her participation in a public debate about women's health. WLS shouldn't talk about women this way. Our community deserves better than this. This community service announcement was paid for by Media Matters for America.
Now, a Limbaugh spokesman has issued a statement, quote, "These Media Matters mobs bear a simple message. Renounce our enemies or become one of them. They barrage small business with threats until they cancel their advertising," unquote. Media Matters was somewhat successful in damaging Glenn Beck's brand, although he is prospering right now on the net. Emboldened by that, they're going after Limbaugh, who is target number one for liberal America. There's something very fascist about all this. Shut down your opposition. Don't let them speak. Punish people who support them. In every totalitarian state in the world, that is tactic number one. Silence the opposition. Last week, Talking Point suggested to the Media Research Center, a conservative group, that they rethink their call for some MSNBC people to be fired. The point is the same. Silencing those with whom you disagree does not help the country. The marketplace should handle it. Nobody has to listen to Rush Limbaugh or to MSNBC, and in the latter case, few do. Unless an opinion is violent or slanderous, it should be allowed. There's no question Mr. Limbaugh got hurt, and he has apologized for his Sandra Fluck comments. Also, no question that the marketplace dictated that apology. And that's the way things should work in a free society. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight reaction with us, Deneen Borelli, Fox News contributor and author of the book Blacklash. And from Southfield, Michigan, Crystal McCrary, an attorney and author of the book Inspiration Profiles of Black Women Changing Our World. So where am I going wrong here, counselor?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I'm speaking from my hometown of Detroit, one of the greatest civil rights leaders, Rosa Parks, also, you know, a boycott leader in many ways. What I always tell my children, that's what I think about with this whole situation that's occurring, is that words matter. And racially hateful, damaging language is not socially acceptable on the playground. It's not acceptable in the media. It's not acceptable any place.
But I don't think anybody's saying it is. I don't think anybody's saying it's acceptable, and people are right to criticize it.
That made my earpiece come out.
All right, you can hold your earpiece.
You're saying no one is saying.
Nobody is saying it's acceptable, and you can hold your earpiece in. Nobody's saying it's acceptable. All right? What we are saying is to try to punish radio stations that carry a radio talk show, all right, because of a mistake that's been acknowledged by everyone. And now that's not good enough. You can't apologize. We're not accepting any apologies here. You got to take that guy's job. You got to throw him off the air. That's un-American, all right? Now, if he was doing it every day, if there was unrepentant, if there was, you know, violence stemming up around it, maybe. And you made an interesting point about Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks and other good people back in the civil rights days boycotted because human rights were being violated. Human rights. It wasn't an opinion. People were being forced physically to be in the back of the bus or not to go into a hotel. There's a big difference. We're talking speech here. Now, how would you reply to the counselor, Deneen? Wait, I'll come back. How would you reply to her?
Well, Bill, businesses have been drawn into this political fight. They are caught in the middle. And if you advertise on a conservative program, the liberal left is going to make an example of you. And this is all about control of conservative speech. If you're an individual, you're targeted and criticized, you're called names. I have been called all kinds of names for my defense of liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government.
Who called you names? Who's called you names?
People who are hiding behind their computers, cowards. I've been called
don't even read that, though, Deneen.
It's a long list.
Don't even read that
stuff. But if you're a business, they want to boycott you, and it's all about control, and it's all about stifling conservative speech.
All right. Now, Counselor, don't you see that this is how totalitarian societies operate? That if you start to criticize the government, they come in and find a reason, find a way to shut you down, just as you said. All right, this is unacceptable. You can't be doing racial invective here. You can't be doing gender insults here. Boom, you're out of there. You can find, look, what about satire, Counselor? What about satire? What are people being, making fun of other people in a certain way? You shut them down too?
Listen, there is a reason why harmful language. There's a reason why you can't holler fire in a crowded theater, because if it's not true. Why? Because someone could get harmed.
But there's a legal remedy for that. If you slander or libel someone, you can be held accountable. But is there a legal remedy?
There's a slippery slope gray area that we're dealing with here that a lot of groups don't really want to address, that has to do with gender and racial bias. And believe you me, we can look at several people in the public, women and men. We can look at the Trayvon Martin case, who was killed because of racial biases and prejudices.
But you're always
this was a young man who had done nothing.
You're going to have that kind of disorder, whether there's free speech or not. You're going to have it. And to
boycotting is free speech.
Boycotting is I disagree with you. You're allowed to do it. You're allowed to do it. But it goes against free speech because it constrains it. All right, so I disagree with you.
I don't agree that it constrains it.
Of course it does. You're saying if you say something I don't like, we're going to go after your sponsorship and try to get you thrown off the air. I'm going to give Deneen the last word. Go.
Well, I say more speech, the better. I want to know where people are coming from. But it is up to management if they want to get rid of someone because of
what they've done. That's their prerogative.
It's up to management. And it's also up to the consumer, whether they will continue to watch the network
is what I said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how the free market usually works, and it usually works pretty well. But this other thing, talk about a slippery slope. I mean, you start throwing people off the air and all of that, no good. All right, ladies, very, very good debate. We appreciate both of you coming on.
Thank you.
Next on the rundown.